Hello, everybody. This is Bernie Strom, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am late by 36 minutes, and I apologize for being late. This broadcast was supposed to go on at 11 p.m., but I got tied up. How you doing, Philip? Sorry I'm late. I in my baseball draft league, I happened to make it to the World Series. So I'm sitting on the computer and I'm trying to work on my lineups and what I'm going to do. And tomorrow's World Series begins. And I just got so caught up into it. I glanced at the clock. It said 11:35 Eastern. And I said, oh, shit, I'm late. Anyway, I am on and we're going to have this fight. So I'm going to skip all the formalities about reading about Ketchel and Hagler. We'll do it at the end. In the meantime, we'll just load the fight since we're late, and we'll have the bout. Boxing, boxing, boxing. There we are. Well, before I do that, a lot of people will be watching this subsequently till tonight. So let me look them up anyway. I'll read you about Marvin Hagler and Stanley Ketchel. Hagler's one of the few professional boxers that I've seen fight in person. Marvin Hagler was born in Newark, New Jersey, May 23rd, 1932. He held the world middleweight title from 1980 to 87. And he was the WBA and IBF champion in 1987. 67 fights, 62 wins, 2 draws, 3 defeats. Marvin Hagler added the word marvelous to his name by deed poll, it says. I don't know what that means, but I know it was, I know that he did it legally, and nobody argued. For the best part of a decade, he was the king of the middleweights, who should already have been champion for a couple of years before he eventually won it. Yeah, they didn't give him fights. They wouldn't give him a fight. And when he finally got his first title fight as a middleweight, he was so cautious in the fight. It ended up to be a draw, and he didn't win. The shaven-skulled switch hitter, equally at home at the southpaw or orthodox stance, moved with his family to Brockton, Mass., which I lived for a while in Brockton, and I lived there in the 1970s. After the race riots in Newark in 67, and turned professional after winning the AAU title in 73. When he beat former Olympic champion Ray Seals in his only 15th fight, he gained the reputation as a man to avoid, and they avoided him, believe me. Despite losing only 2 of his first 50 fights, he had to wait until 1979 for a title chance, when a draw allowed Vito Antifermo to keep his title. I'll never forget watching that. And he just wasn't aggressive. When he had a tough fight, he tended not to be aggressive, with the exception, of course, his most famous fight with Tommy Hearns. But he made no mistake next time, stopping Alan Minter in 3 rounds and going on to retain the title 12 times, including the classic fight with Thomas Hearns, which I just mentioned, and John Mugabe. When Ray Leonard won a controversial verdict over him in April 87, Hagler walked away from boxing and began a new career in films. He did that in Europe. For years, I thought Hagler had won that fight against Sugar Ray Leonard, but I was a big Hagler fan. Excuse me while I take a sip of water here. But over the years, as I've rewatched it many times, I've come to believe that Sugar Ray Leonard outboxed him, and that was another fight he wasn't really aggressive enough in. Stanley Ketchel, let me flip the page. I don't know much about Stanley Ketchel except that he fought a long time ago. He was, his real name, Stanislaus Kiecal, Kiecal. Just learned something new. Grand Rapids, Michigan, born September 14th, 1886. He was the world middleweight champion from 1906 to 1908. And then again, back in 1908, he must have won the title again for one more year. He fought 64 times, 52 wins, 4 draws, 4 no decisions, and 4 losses. The son of a Russian father and a Polish mother, Ketchel's heavy punching and nonstop aggression soon gained him a reputation, and by 1906, he was already claiming the middleweight title vacated by Tommy Ryan. He beat all 3 rival claimants in 1908, but lost in a bizarre circumstance in a rematch with one of them, Billy Papp, P-A-P-K-E, Papke, in September 1908. Papke punched him in the throat before the first bell, and Ketchel was so dazed that he took 4 counts in the mercilessly, if I said that right, excuse me if it was wrong, in the return, and then faced heavyweight champion Jack Johnson. Boy, that's something. A middleweight versus a heavyweight. Johnson had agreed to carry Ketchel, whom he outweighed by 35 pounds, but in the 12th round, Ketchel tried to double-cross the champion. He knocked him down. Johnson got straight up and flattened Ketchel with the next punch. Ketchel's boxing must have been fun back in those days. Ketchel stuck to the middleweights after that and was still champion when Conway, Missouri, on October 15th, 1910. Boxing must have been colorful back in those days. Anyway, these 2 guys are going to fight, Philip, and we're going to do it right now. Thank you for hanging around and waiting for me, being 35 minutes late. I set this up differently. I set it up as an exhibition. They'll all line up here in this middleweight title bout, so we will have access to all these fighters. Okay, here we go. Marvin Hagler is going to fight from the outside. Stanley Ketchel is going to put pressure on him. Hagler in the red corner, Ketchel in the blue corner, and there's the bell for round number 1. Hagler's going to have control and going to get the first punch off. We have 9 segments in a 3-minute round. There's a jab. It's slipped. It's going to be a counter punch by Ketchel, and it's going to be right on his chin. Hagler saw a shot, but Hagler shrugged it off, as you see there. Hagler's still in control. It's a hook, but Ketchel ducked under it. Hagler looks like we still be in control here as we're at the 2-minute, 19-second mark of the round. There's a cross. It is going to connect. And will there be a cut? There will not be a cut. A little under 2 minutes to go in round 1. Hagler's had control the whole fight. And there's another hook that Ketchel ducked under. Ketchel may be a little fast for Hagler. I'm a little surprised in the beginning. Hagler's still in control, winning all the dice rolls. There's a cross, another possible cut. Here's the dice roll. And he is cut. Let's see where it is. Minor cut under his right eye. There it is. A minor cut, but it's bleeding pretty good. There's 3 boxes marked. If it goes to the end, the fight's over. Hagler's still in control. Hagler, obviously the aggressor. Here we go. And he connects with a jab. 45 seconds to go in round 1. They're in the center of the ring for the first time, separated by the referee. 26 seconds to go. I don't think Ketchel's had one control roll here. Hook landed. There's going to be a counter punch. There's a hook by Ketchel. This is a pretty close round for Hagler, being in control the entire round, and he's still in control in the last segment. And that jab is missed, and there's the end of round number 1. There was a lot of action, but not a lot of connecting. Let's check with the ringside unofficial scorekeeper. Gave that to Hagler, obviously, because of all the activity in the round. We're going 15 rounds. Here's the bell for round number 2. Hagler's still in control. Ketchel hasn't been in control once. There's a cross. It connects. Hagler's still in control. Are these dice fixed? Another jab, possible cut. Here's the dice roll for the cut. I think there's going to be more damage here. His nose starts bleeding. Boy, there's just a little trickle as the cut situation is. If Hagler works on it, he could be in good shape. And Ketchel finally going to have control and going to get to throw an offensive punch here. He misses. Here comes the counter by Hagler. Connects with a double hook on the chin. Solid shot, but once again, Ketchel spreads it out. Just under 2 minutes to go in round number 2. Ketchel in control for the second time in a row. There's a double hook to the chin. Hagler shrugs that off. Into the center of the ring, the fighters go. They both throw punches, but they're blocked and missed. Back to the center. And they miss again. Ketchel going to have control in this segment. Uppercut lands. Looks like Ketchel may win this round. He's in control in this one too. Combinations blocked by Hagler. Ketchel putting pressure on. 4 seconds to go in the round. They're going to go to the center of the ring. And both fighters block and miss is the end of round number 2. Pretty even round. Let's see what the unofficial scorekeeper says. 10-9 Ketchel. Hagler is, like I said, one of the... I've seen 2 professional fights in my life. I saw Marvin Hagler fight in the old Boston Garden early in his career before he was champion in person. And I saw George Foreman win the heavyweight title the second time when he was in his 40s here at the MGM in Las Vegas. There's the bell for round number 3, and they come out. Ketchel is going to have control. Combination lands for Ketchel. To the center of the ring, though neither fighter has had much luck in the middle of the ring. They're going back to the middle of the ring. No, Hagler in control. Scores with a hook to the chin. And Ketchel's going to shrug that. Oh, he's hurt by that one. I thought that roll was a shrug off roll, but it wasn't. He's hurt now. Hagler's going to have a punch or two where Ketchel's not going to get a chance to defend himself. Straight punch. There it is. Hagler in control. Lands with a straight shot to the body. 1 minute, 19 seconds. They're in the middle of the ring. Once again, the referee has to separate them. Hagler doing a little better in this round. Back to the middle of the ring they go. Once again, separated by the referee. Ketchel going to throw this punch. Connects with a hook, and here's the last segment in round number 3. To the center of the ring they go. And they miss again. Neither fighter does well in the center of the ring. End of round number 3. Looks to me like Hagler might have eked out a slim win. And yeah, there it is, 10-9 Hagler. Once again, that's an unofficial score. We're at the greatest middleweight tournament. Stanley Ketchel from the early 20th century, Marvin Hagler from the late 20th century. Here we go, the bell. He lands a hook. Once again, Ketchel's got control. No, nobody's really been hurt in this fight. Hagler landed one big punch. The right eye is bleeding pretty good for Ketchel. Here they are in the center of the ring. Hagler wins that exchange. The first time an exchange has been won from 5 seconds to go in round number 4. Lands a straight punch to the body. Hagler gets control for the first time this round. He lands with a combination. Back to Ketchel we go. Ketchel scores with a hook to the chin. And Hagler said that one. I'm guessing the higher this number, the less it bothers the fighter. But since I've never read the instructions, who knows? Both fighters in the center of the ring, their punches are missed. 37 seconds to go back to the center of the ring where neither fighter has done well, and they miss again from the center. In the 9th section, Hagler will be able to end this round with a flurry. He scores with a hook, and there's the bell for round number 4. Maybe Hagler got a little note. They've switched on and off. We're an even fight. Still bleeding under the right eye of Ketchel. His nose still has a trickle of blood. And Hagler is unmarked as we go to round number 5. Ketchel will have control to lead things off in the first segment. That's a hook that missed, going to be a counterpunch, and there's a solid hook by Hagler. They're going to go to the center of the ring. And Ketchel wins that one 2-1. Back to the center they go. The possible cut for Stanley Ketchel. That's what he needs, more blood. Maybe a cut on Hagler. Let's see what happens. His mouth is bleeding from the headbutt. Okay, there you go. Both fighters showing some damage.